Hi, everybody. Welcome back on the Maroon Devils Network as we talk more Maroon Devils football. And, hey, we're going to be talking about the wide receivers. With us is Coach Mike Varano. And, Coach, I understand that is your gig. You get to coach these wide receivers. Tell us a little bit, Coach, before we get into our receiver situation, what your background is. Where did you play some football? What was your resume coming into Swain County?
Right. I'm from Harnett County, which apparently I've been told from the people here in Swain County when I tell them where I'm from, they say, "Oh, you're from down east," which is not quite east to me, but it's east of here for sure. Right. So Harnett County is south of Wake County, which is Raleigh, about an hour south of Raleigh, in a town called Sanford.
Okay.
That's where I'm from. That's where I started teaching, started coaching, started as a volunteer, and decided to change careers and get into education because coaching was it for me. And so I coaching wise, actually have in football I have a middle school coaching background.
Okay.
This is my first time coaching high school. I've coached baseball at the high school level, right. Which baseball is my deeper background, but I still have that love for football, and I'm happy to be a part of it, especially here at Swain County.
Yeah.
It's been great so far, getting up to speed, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Talking about speed, I know coaching wide receivers, that's a big part of it. Tell us about maybe how the speed might be different from Sanford, North Carolina, for example, up here in the mountains. I know when we go to the state playoffs, we run into speed game after game sometimes. So speed is a big key in your coaching situation, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Here in the mountains, it's definitely a different feel from the central part of the state where I'm from, as far as that goes. But there's a toughness level that goes along with it too. You got to be really physical, especially at the wide receiver position. We're definitely not a pass first team like some of the teams that I'm accustomed to being around from the central part of the state, especially Raleigh area. But we've got the speed. We harp big on footwork. Right. Footwork is a big thing for us that we work on about every day. I say, the speed will come. Let's get smooth first. Right. Speed will come second. And but we'll hopefully get to be able to open it up a little bit here. We haven't really had the opportunity to, especially with the weather games and stuff like that. But these wide receivers, I'd like for them to get a chance to showcase their skills because they're really a big part of the team. All right,
Coach, talking about in our offense, how important is it for these wide receivers to be able to block? Because in the past, I know our offense is different now. We've spread it out more, but still, how important is it for our wide receivers to be able to go down there and hit somebody and knock them out of the play?
Absolutely, yeah. That's that same physical part of the game. I told you we've got to be physical. In our offense, if you want to play wide receiver and you can't block, you're not going to play. We so that's another thing we harp on and we work on almost every day is blocking techniques and how to get on and stay on blocks. And it's a little bit different at the wide receiver position, the stalk block versus the offensive line. Where they've got assignments right off the snap. Stalk block's a little different, so it's a little harder, to simulate. But again, it's something that we work on, every day and try to get better at. I tell them, I said, hey, if you've got an opportunity, that could be the biggest play of the game. Sometimes, especially downfield block, might bust the big play and get us to the house. So they're excited when that happens. Obviously, if they get that opportunity, that's something that again they're all about just contributing in the game as much as they can and when they can.
No doubt about it. Coach, we appreciate you joining us here on the Maroon Devils Coaches Show. It's always great to talk with some of the assistants that our fans might not be familiar with, and we welcome you to Swain County and Maroon Devil football because that's very special to people who live and work and play here in Swain County.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here again. I was a late addition to the staff, just getting here in August, but when they gave me the the opportunity, I said, man, I jumped all over it, and I've loved every minute of it, and it's really special here in Swain County. You can tell that, you can feel that, so I'm glad to be here.
All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Mike Varano, our wide receiver coach here on the Maroon Devils staff. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking with Mr. Sane and Coach Holt when we continue right here on the Maroon Devils Network.
Hey, this is Lindley Wyatt on the Maroon Devils Network. Coming up on the Maroon Devils Network on Wednesday, September 14th, we have a soccer game at home against Andrews at 6 p.m. And on Thursday, the 15th, we have a volleyball game at home against Highlands. And on Friday, the 16th, we have a football game against Dade County, Georgia. So don't forget to tune in to the Maroon Devil Network for all the action.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Maroon Devil Network and the Maroon Devil Coaches Show as we get to talk football with Coach Sherman Holt. Wow, Coach, I tell you what, I think my heart's still beating fast from last Friday. The last 2 weeks, we went down to the wire with Smoky Mountain. We went to the wire and then some with the Franklin Panthers going into overtime. One thing we've seen, though, with this Maroon Devil football team, they don't quit, and that's really, really big in this schedule we have, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to be proud of our kids to, hang in there. Anytime you go into an overtime session, you never know what's going to happen. And I think our kids, they played hard. They never quit. Showed how well conditioned they were, and just proud of their effort and proud of their mentality of, whatever it takes.
Yeah. And, Coach, I'm seeing that. I think a lot of it, you're right, it's mentality, a lot of it's attitude, a lot of it's effort. And I've heard this from people we have played already this season. Wow. And I've heard it from Smoky Mountain fans and Franklin fans, and they say the same thing. They say, if you're going to play Swain County, you better strap it on and get ready to play physical football. And that's a big compliment to you and this football staff.
Yeah, we really emphasize that in practice every day. You can't play physical on Friday night if you don't practice physical Monday through Thursday. And, so for us, we just got to embrace toughness, embrace physicality. And that's why I think in these first 3 ball games, people have been able to see that we're physical, we're tough, we're not afraid to come hit you. And that's kind of what we're hanging our hat on right now. So proud of our kids and just accepting that challenge of being a tough physical football team.
Yeah. Now, Coach, we talk about the mentality of that, but how much were the summer workouts a part of this mentality, a part of this effort, a part of the ability to play 48 minutes? Because I know you had some hard sessions in that weight room over in the Maroon Strong Performance Center. How much did that play into the way we're playing football?
Oh, it reflects 100%. When I got here in March, I told our kids, you're going to be challenged in here every day. If you don't get in there and throw weight around and sweat and hurt, you got to hurt a little bit in the off season so you don't hurt on Friday nights. And our kids, they've accepted everything we've thrown at them. And they've took it wide open. And there's a lot of days in the summer when they were just beat down as far as, we physically got after them in the weight room, in our conditioning regimen. And it showed. Yeah. We've had 3 games. We hadn't had one cramp, I don't believe. Wow. In the first 3 football games, you normally going to have some cramps. We hadn't had no cramps. We've been very fortunate in that category. And just playing with the mentality of practice was hard, the game's easy, and that's what we try to preach. We're going to practice hard so the game's easy.
Yeah.
So.
Coach, let's go back to the Franklin game last Friday. Wow, again, what a game. We kind of came out of the gate pretty quick. We started moving the football. Then that darn turnover bug kind of jumped up and bit us. And I know that's something that you want to clean up and work on and try to eliminate those as much as we can.
Yeah, in that ball game, I think there was 11 fumbles between us and Franklin, and we got to concentrate offensively on taking care of the football, valuing the possession, and so for us, big emphasis this week is going to be taking care of the football, ball security, and we've been doing that in a game like last Friday, kind of wet, Sometimes it was light rain, sometimes it was heavy rain.
Yes.
And so anytime you play in that condition, you want to just have an extra emphasis of holding on to the football. And, it was just an old-fashioned, sloppy, football game. We got to take care of the football. We'd be in better shape. And it's just lack of focus maybe, just focusing on I'm not going to let this football get out of my hands. And, we're going to work on that this week.
Yeah. Coach, I know, we jumped out to a 7-0 lead, then kind of back and forth. Then we went to halftime. Then Franklin comes out and bang, their first possession in the third quarter. They go down and score. But it's like after that we adjusted a little bit and were able to stop them after they scored that one touchdown there early in the third quarter.
Yeah, they come out, we kind of had them pegged in the first half, and they switched one little thing up where they split the fullback to the other side, put the tight end weak, and we realized that first possession, and then we started, adjusting our defense to adjust for their adjustment. And you got to be happy for our defense. I think we give up 88 yards on the ground. 47 of them was in one play, on that big busted play on their sideline. So for our kids to hold them to 88 yards on the ground, that's pretty good defensive effort.
Outstanding effort. Let's talk about the overtime. Our Maroon Devil defense really solid, keeping them out of the end zone, holding them to a field goal. That was really big in their first overtime possession, wasn't it, with that good defensive stand?
Yeah, when we went into overtime, I challenged our defense. I said, make them kick a field goal. I said, because if they kick a field goal, we're going to win this football game. And, they accepted the challenge. I think might have give up 1 yard in overtime segment in 3 plays, and then, they kicked the field goal. And when they kicked the field goal, our whole team knew that we were going to win that football game because we knew offensively we had a good plan. And, they had kind of struggled a little bit in our option game. All night long, Reese done a real good job reading it, and they had kind of concentrated on taking away the inside veer play that we run. And so when we called that play there at the end, I knew Reese probably wasn't going to hand it off. He's just got that it factor, and he made a good read and made a good run. And our kids just are believing in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to hang our hat on here at Swain County.
Yeah. What was the feeling after that win? I know, again, right down to the wire, I'm Maroon Devil fans. Wow. I mean, excitement is putting it mildly the way we're playing football right now, but a good win in overtime, and we had a full house over there of fans again, and these kids had to feel really, really good with that effort that paid off.
Yeah, anytime you win, you're excited for your kids, but anytime you win in a tough environment, tough situation, going into overtime, I would say typically the home team's favored in an overtime contest. And so just to win in overtime on the road against a good Franklin football team is, again, just adding to the notches in our belt as far as how we're getting tested every week. Anytime you can get a game like that and you come out on the winning side, it's important and kind of get your confidence a little bit. Coming off that Smoky Mountain game, we needed a win for one, and to win in the way we did was good for us. And I know some people might think, well, they'd like to win one by a blowout, but we'll take a win no matter how we get it. And it's probably getting us prepared for down the road. Even this week against Pisgah, it's going to be a tough football game, physical. And so anytime we can win those tough physical football games, it's only getting us better.
Talking about those Pisgah Bears, we get to lock horns with our old buddy Brett Chappell. Of course, Brett has always been that way. I think that's his MO, his mindset. He's always been a physical football player, going back to high school and college, and now as a coach at Pisgah. Anybody that's ever played them and you've played those Pisgah Bears, you know that they're going to play physical football. I know this year they've had some changes in their skill positions. Some folks, of course, graduated, moved on, and last week they were off. They had a chance to kind of get ready for us, so to speak. So what do you look for from Pisgah as they're going to be coming to Swain County?
Well, they want to establish a good running game on our offense, and they're kind of like us in the same – they're a tight end wing type team. They want to run the ball. They want to control the clock. value the possession. And so for us, it's going to be, challenge defensively, trying to get them off the field, make them punt, and, just make sure we eliminate the big play. They got some real good skill players. Got a good wide out that's real big, that's been there a couple of years in Caden Robinson, and he just presents some challenges just defensively. How are we going to kind of limit him? And, they've got some other guys that are young that, they can spread the ball out a little bit more this year, I would say, than they have in the past. And so it's kind of which scheme are they going to go with? Are they going to try to throw the ball a little more? Are they going to run it like they normally do? And we just told our kids yesterday at practice and in film session, be ready for a physical football game. Be ready to have to line up and win this game in the trenches.
Yeah. Talk about that, Coach. We've hit on that a little bit already. Our football team seems really physical. They are. There's no question about it, which I think has allowed us to play physical because of hard summer workouts. And we haven't seen, knock on wood, hardly any injuries. I know a couple of guys have been dinged up a little bit, but this football team has been very fortunate right now to have not seen that injury bug bite us so far.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't never tell when something's going to happen, but most of our kids have stayed fairly healthy. You've got the normal dings and banged up kids, but not had any major injuries. And part of that, is just being tough. We told our kids coming in, there's things that there's a difference in hurting and being injured. And, I think everybody hurts, and you just got to be able to withstand that type of pain. And but our kids, they've adapted well, and the mindset and the mentality of, you got to be tough to play tough. Yes. And it's one of those things where we've really preached on, what are you willing to give up for Swain County, and I think our kids have bought into that slogan. And they're playing pretty good football and tough football.
Oh, no doubt. Fans, it's going to be a tough one this Friday night as the Pisgah Bears come to town. I know we've got a little bit of history with them. As a matter of fact, we used to play Pisgah some when our great friend and former Maroon Devil, Coach Carol Wright, was over there, and they had some outstanding football. They came here. We went there back in the Heath Schuler days, if you will. But it's Pisgah Swain this Friday night, and we'll be right here on the Maroon Devils Network. Join us then.